All right. So I'm back, and I'm gonna break my outline because I had a way of, or an outline of topics that I was gonna follow to talk about things. But there's been so much happening here in the media lately with the Super Bowl, but about Beyonce's halftime performance and Black Panthers, and just a lot of stuff has been going on the last few days. And it's been really, really busy on social media and in the news, and it's really been weighing on me here a lot lately. I've been having really good conversations with people about what's been happening, and I feel like I should have made this first, but I just had this epiphany here recently, like within the last few hours, to look at it this way. So, what I'm trying to say is that I believe I may have stumbled upon a very simple way to start to break down the barriers of racism, misunderstanding, and what's been going on with black people and white people for the longest time. And I hope you share this with your friends and family and other people. Share the video, share the conversation, share the way of thinking, in hopes that we can begin to start to actually repair, these race issues in the United States and hopefully the world. Um, but what what I've stumbled on is this: communicate, don't educate. And what I mean by that is, if you have somebody who's having a problem, just on a very basic level, how can you begin to try to solve that person's problem without talking to that person? So, like, if somebody came and you say, "Hey, man, I got this problem," and you just offer the solution off rip without even talking to them, it's not going to really do anything. It's nonsense. It's just noise. So you have to talk to that person and begin to listen to what they're saying to get an idea of what they're talking about. Then, in your conversation with that person, you can begin to possibly find a solution to the actual problem. And what I mean by this is, with white people, I've been hearing this consistently over the last few days, is they're offering solutions to a problem they think they understand. Okay? They're trying to help black people or educate black people on these race issues. And I think I appreciate that. But that's not the solution. Okay? And I don't believe a lot of white people are racist. I believe a lot of white people are uninformed, or they don't understand black people or racism. And I would say to that, how could they, having never been a black person, no more than I can understand what it's like to be a woman or a person with a disability? If a woman's having a problem or a person with a disability is having a problem, I can't solve their problem without talking to them. I have to communicate with them and have them tell me what's going on before I start offering solutions. So I would say that, you know, instead of trying to offer a solution or try to fix it, stop that. Put the brakes on that. Communicate. White people, talk to black people, ask questions. What's going on? Black people, explain to them what's happening, what's going on, what's happening in your world. Give them another point of view, because there's like this consistent like breakdown of like communication. Like you got black people over here, white people over here, and they're both talking at each other, and there's no meeting in the middle. It's like just this huge gap of misunderstanding where the point's getting missed and nothing's happening to actually solve the problem. Um, So I would say communicate, don't educate. And in that communication, I believe solutions will begin to present themselves rather than trying to figure it out. Maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. If you have a genuine back and forth with the person, I believe the solutions will begin to present themselves organically without all the effort of trying to figure it out on one side or the other. This as well. And something that you would learn in your conversation, white people, with black people, is I keep hearing this. I've heard this consistently over the last few days. Is you hear from white people, they'll say, hey, slavery is over, civil rights is over, all this is in the past. Get over it, move on, see everybody as equal, see everybody as an American. Let's unify, let's come together, let's be one. Let's do things together and leave that all behind. Okay, that's great. That's admirable. I think that's a goal worth achieving. But in saying that, you're suggesting that the problem was solved and we're holding a grudge when that's not what's happening. The problem was never solved. The wound was never healed. The wound has been covered up or bandaged with a band-aid. It's this massive wound that still exists today. Okay? So I would just let me repeat that. Black people aren't holding a grudge about what happened in the past. Yeah, it was wrong and it was mean and I hate it, but I had no direct personal experience with slavery, with civil rights. I've never not been able to vote or drink at a white water fountain. You know, I've never experienced that. I've never had to work at a cotton field, and pick cotton. I've never been sold. Okay, so I had no direct connection or no direct emotional connection to that. Okay, so what I'm saying is this: if I had no direct emotional connection to it, why are millions of black people upset in dealing with this? Millions of black people are not holding a grudge about what happened to them. Black people are experiencing things that are present today. Okay? Because there's a direct emotional connection to their daily lives, if that makes sense. Okay? Black people aren't getting together every month and saying, hey, remember to be angry about civil rights and slavery and these bad things that happened to our parents and ancestors. We're not doing that. The reason it keeps coming up is because it's happening still. Okay? It's not lynching and it's not slavery, but it's presented itself in different ways. And we experience that on a daily basis, whether you're rich or poor. It happens. Okay? So, think about that for a second. Okay? And share that. Black people want to be happy and live full lives just like the next person or white people. I don't like doing this. I don't enjoy talking about this. I want to do things that I enjoy doing. People know me. I love comic books and superhero stuff. I want to have fun and all that, but I can't escape my reality. So to kind of touch back on this notion that we all see each other as equal and let's all be Americans and let's all do right. There's no white or black. Don't see color. That's, like I said, that's a great goal. But in that world you're talking about, there's no rape. There's no murder. There's no crime. Everybody loves everybody. There's parents love their children. Children love their parents. You know, there's no wrong. There's no evil. Okay, it's not a reality. So this is some kind of utopia. It's an admirable goal to reach for, but if you're going to actually want to try to reach for that, you have to begin in reality and deal with where we are. Okay, and then to touch on this point as well of moving on, think of think of it this way: if you have a gunshot wound, if you have a bullet wound, and that bullet's in you, and you're bleeding, and you're in serious pain, you can't put a band-aid on that, or you can't walk away from that and expect it to heal itself. Okay, you're going to have to treat that wound. You're going to have to acknowledge the bullet wound is there, remove the bullet, sterilize the wound, clean the wound, repair the damage, stitch the wound, then give the wound time to heal. It's not going to be a overnight quick thing. Okay? Think of it like this as well. If you can't walk away from it and expect it to heal itself. Think of it like this. If you also have, let's say you have a large amount of credit card debt, that's something relatable. If you have a large amount of credit card debt, you can't just walk away from your debt and be like, you know what? I'm going to think positively about it. I'm going to think good thoughts. I'm going to pretend it's not there. I'm going to move on past it. That's not going to fix your credit card debt. You're going to have to go back and address the credit card debt. Start making payments to that debt to bring it down. You might even have to change your lifestyle to work on that. But the point I'm trying to make is the problem is not going to fix itself by sweeping it under a rug and moving on. That's a really, really lame attempt at fixing a huge problem. Okay? So if you're serious about this and you believe you want people to work together, you want black people and white people to come together, if you really believe that, communicate, don't educate, because in that communication you're going to learn things you didn't know. And from that, like I said, I think the solutions will begin to present themselves organically rather than forcing the issue and having this argument back and forth. And so I would urge, white people to listen. Stop trying to offer solutions for us. Listen to us. Listen to what we're saying. Black people, listen to what they're saying. Understand that they might not know or understand your life or what's going on. And be patient. Communicate. Talk. White people, you can't expect black people to do all the heavy lifting. Okay? You can't expect us to do this by ourselves. It's uncomfortable. It's ugly. It's not fun. And we all would rather be doing other things. But if you actually believe you want this world to be a better place and you want these positive things to happen, you have to engage. Last thought is fatigue. We're all tired of talking about this. Everybody's upset and tired and wants to move on. Okay? White people, you have that luxury of doing that. You can move on. You can go on with your life. Like, you know what? I want to do other things. Black people can't do that. And what I mean by that is this. No matter where I go or what I do, my skin color follows me everywhere I go. And in my everyday daily routine, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to encounter some level of racism, ignorance, half-formed thinking, and I can't escape it because it's everywhere. When I go to the store, when I go to the gas station, when I go to work, when I'm in my apartment watching TV and I hear something ridiculous on TV or on social media, I can choose not to engage it, but in doing that, like I said earlier, you're going to run back into the problems of not actually fixing the problem. So I can't afford to be tired and walk away from it because it's with me everywhere I go. I can't get away from it. Um, so I'm concerned about my future children, my friends, black children, um, my nieces, my life. When I get pulled over, I have to wonder: is this cop gonna just off jump be afraid of me because I'm black? Is he gonna be worried that I might be taller than him? Might he be intimidated, scared? I have to worry about my safety. My wife worries about my safety as I go out into the world. So, if we're going to begin to try to fix these problems, you have to engage. You can't expect black people to do all the heavy lifting. We have to work together. And these problems are not going to go away by themselves. Okay? And I'm not saying other people in the world don't have problems. There's all kind of things happening, obviously, but this is just one that we can begin to work on to try to make this world more livable for everybody in it. Um, and unfortunately, in this process, you're going to encounter, um, black people and white people who want to push a negative agenda forward. Um, I don't even want to do them justice by naming their names, but you know who they are when you hear them. Okay, but this also real quick, Black Lives Matter isn't saying that white lives don't matter. All we're saying is that our lives matter as well. Um, Not to justify uh, rioting or violence in any capacity, but think of it like this: if you're in a abusive relationship and a person's beating on you on a consistent basis, or if you're being bullied by somebody and this is happening on a daily basis, if you never stand up for yourself and hit back at that bully or that abusive spouse or whoever's mistreating you, they will continue to do it. You have to eventually stand up for yourself and swing back, make noise, a cry for help, you know. So instead of turning this quick judgment that, oh, they're just, you know, poor black people or just thugs or whatever, think about why is that happening? Why are they doing that? A cry for help. Help us. Attention. We want to be treated fairly, equally like everybody else. Okay? So that's still back to my original point, and I'll end with this, is you'll learn stuff like that as you begin to communicate and not educate. Okay? Think about that. Communicate, don't educate. The solutions and the education will come organically without you even trying. Okay? Share this video with your friends and family. Share the topic with your friends and family. Continue the conversation. And I'll get back into my, original outline. But I just had to talk about this real quick because I've had some very good conversations with a lot of white people over the weekend or this past week. And it's been refreshing, all because we start communicating, with each other rather than talking at each other. Okay. And all the idiot racists out there and people who are actually doing bad things to push forward a negative agenda, they can go to hell.